Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. While the war between Russia and Ukraine continued uninterrupted, it was reported that the information that an object flying above the airspace was dropped from the White House was confirmed by the palace. The White House has confirmed that the U.S. military shut down a flying object over Alaskan airspace days after it shut down a Chinese pipe balloon off the coast of South Carolina. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said the Department of Defense was tracking a high-altitude object over Alaska at 40,000 feet that posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. Kirby said the object was hit and landed in the U.S. waters on President Biden's orders that afternoon. At the order of the U.S. President, warplanes assigned to U.S. Northern Command were deployed at 1:45 Eastern Standard Time today in U.S. sovereign airspace over U.S. territorial waters on the northern coast of Alaska. Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Pat Ryder told reporters at a briefing, successfully dropped an airborne object at high altitude. He said, "KBI said the government is still collecting information about the object. It's not yet known whether it's operated by another country or whether it's privately or commercially." Kirby also did not say whether the object was a balloon or some other. "We call it an object because it's the best description we have right now," he told the reporters. He continued, "We do not fully understand the purpose. We do not have any information to confirm a stated purpose for this object." He continued, adding that authorities are waiting to be able to salvage the wreckage. Ryder said the North American Aerospace Defense Command detected to object on ground and send aircraft for further investigation, after which the decision was made to shoot it down. Kirby said Biden was briefed on the matter at the time the aircraft and F-22 flying from Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, Alaska. Fire. Then AIM-000X Sidewinder missile to bring down the moving object in the northeasterly direction. About 940 feet above the. Ryder said the president had ordered it to land, given that the balloon was operating at a height that posed a reasonable threat to civilian air traffic. The decision to land the object over Alaska came 6 days after Biden directed the military to shoot down a Chinese spy balloon days after it was first discovered floating over the confidential US. In this case, officials said they want to wait for the Chinese spy balloon to hover over the voter so that it doesn't pose a threat to people or property when it crashes. The U.S. doesn't yet know where the latest object came from and hesitated to call it another balloon, as it was nowhere near the size of high-altitude surveillance balloon that was lowered off the coast of South Carolina, about the size of a small car. Ryder added that Northcom has begun risky operations. Biden has drawn criticism, particularly from Republicans, for expecting the China bubble to hit last, with critics arguing that he has a lot Beijing together, potentially valuable information. In the meantime, in an interview, the president said he did not see the attack of the Chinese bubble as a major breach and downplay the potential impact on U.S.-China relations. Tensions escalated during the Senate 8 Appropriations SUBC committee session with defense officials regarding the collapsed balloon Alaska. Senator Liz Murkowski, the first person who states a space was breached by Chinese balloon on January 28, was visibly enraged when questioning witnesses. Murkowski said, "As an Alaskan, I am very angry. I want to use other words, but I won't." He continued, "The truth is Alaska is America's first line of defense, right? If you're going to make Russia come to you, if you are going to make China come to you, we know exactly how they got there. The common pass over Alaska." He used the expressions. He later added, "It seems to me that the clear message to China is we have free range in Alaska because they're going to let us holler over it." Representative Mike Gallagher said he did not believe it was a coincidence that Chinese surveillance bubble that circulated in the United States earlier. This mount appeared as Secretary of Defense, Antonio Blinken was preparing to visit Beijing. "I don't think it was a coincidence that it coincided with Secretary Lincoln's visit, but we don't have proof of that yet," Gallagher told radio host John Kama on Web C-1770's show The Cat's Round Table. Lincoln postponed his planned visit to China following the discovery of the balloon. Given the situation, Gallagher said, timing the balloon to cross into U.S. airspace around Lincoln's. Trying to humiliate the U.S. on the world stage would do well in the Chinese Communist Party's playbook. Gallagher, I wouldn't be surprised if all this was aimed to sending us a message while our Secretary of Defense was visiting, and the message is, look what we can get away with. And you are not going to do anything about it? You are still going to come crawling back. Said. So it tells us something fundamental about the Chinese Communist Party. The Wisconsin Republican Edit Gallagher said such an event is the reason why the House of Representatives created an elected committee to focus on the U.S. relationship with China. He said the members of the committee he chairs intends to make a serious sober effort to thwart threats from the country in a bipartisan way. We want to step back against threats to our security, threats to our sovereign entity, and make sure that the Chinese Communist Party doesn't get away with these things. Gallagher said. Tensions between the U.S. and China escalated last week after China criticized the U.S. response to the bubble, saying it overreacted and should not hit it. The Chinese government claimed that the balloon was conducting meteorological surveys and was pushed off course by the vent, but U.S. officials dismissed the idea. Joint Kirby's strategic communications coordinator at the U.S. National Security Council said, a U.S. Armed Forces plane shut down an unidentified object flying at an altitude of 12,000 meters over Alaskan motors. According to the Kirby, the order of shut down the plane was given by us. President Joe Biden caused being at such a high. An unidentified vehicle created potential threats to civil aviation. At the time the object was dropped, the Pentagon had a hard time identifying whether it was a balloon or some other device. We call it an object because it's the best description we have right now. Kirby said, according to him, the size of the device was comparable to a small car, smaller than the Chinese balloon seen in the province of Montana a week ago. Authorities have yet to associate a device on Alaska with. Kirby noted that until now officials did not know whether the object belonged to any state or company, and they found it difficult to specify for what purpose it was in the sky. The military is confident that no one is on the device. Recall that recently the U.S. military shut down a Chinese spike cannon of the coast of South Carolina, which had previously occupied American air. Earlier U.S. intelligence agencies recorded a suspicious blimp, which later turned out to be an intelligence device from China. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it useful, please comment and share the video for us. It will make our channel more known. See you in the following videos. Thank you very much.